I'm going to show you how to refurbish an old humidifier. Now this is a great humidifier. We've had it for a long time. It's a Bonaire. It's got some pretty good capacity for water here. And this thing is capable of putting up to 8 gallons of water a day into your house. Now that sounds like a lot, but if you're burning a wood stove and a fireplace like we do very often, then you dry your house out fast. Or if you have hot air heat. Now we have baseboard water, forced hot water, but we use the fireplace and a lot, so it dries the house out. The problem with this is the past couple of years it hasn't worked nearly as well because the wicks have gone bad, and I don't even think we've used it this year at all. I jimmy rigged it last year to get some use out of it, but it's time to either throw it away or refurbish it. So the first thing I did is I went online to see if I can get parts for it, and lo and behold I could. There was a couple parts I couldn't get, but I was able to get what I needed. And I'll show you. So down in here is basically just a carbon filter. Let me just grab those. So I got these on Amazon. I ordered 2 because it was just as cheap to save on shipping. This carbon filter, it's carbon on one side, I guess a little bit or whatever. And I don't know, it's not really, I guess it could be. But anyways, this goes down in there. So that's a quick, easy fix. The one, we haven't actually put a filter in it for a long time because the filter went to heck. We used to vacuum it off, but it was just no good at the end, so we just gave up on it and didn't care about running it as a filtering unit. We just cared about running it as putting moisture in the air. And so we had another unit we used for a filter. So this got a little broken tab on it, but it's not that big a deal. This just goes down in here. I believe like this, like that, and that's all there is to it. You get little finger tabs there, and then this of course is the cover. Now this is supposed to hook into it on the side, so when you open it, it lifts it up like that. See, when you close it, it goes down, so you can grab it when it opens up. One little tab broke off, a little thing, that does not affect the use of it. And once it's in place, there you go. And now we're getting filtration. So that's fixed. And I'll put a link to both of these. I got them both on Amazon, as well as the other things you're going to see in a minute. And so that's what it's right here. It's called Upstart Components Humidifier Filter. And of course, it's made in China. So hopefully that will take care of that problem. So let's take off these so I can show you what we got here. These are just your containers to hold water. Put those aside. And I got the plug removed from the back here because you can't take this off unless you unplug this from the back. Once you take the plug out, you can take this housing off the top here and set it aside. And that's your working parts right here. Now, this is what we got. Those canisters go here. These little tabs push up on this little tab here, which allows the, make sure this camera's tipped a little bit more, which allows the water to keep this at a certain level. If it gets low, then more water goes in, but it doesn't overfill itself. So that's that. So on this side, we have this float here, which when this gets low, it lets you know that it's out of water, and you know to fill it back up, and a little red light comes on. And you have a couple settings here. You got fan speed and how much humidity before it'll shut down, so it senses that humidity. So you got that. Now here's where the problem is. These things here are shot. These are the wicks. They're all dried out. I've cleaned them a ton. And they, at the end, they were so flopping around they wouldn't even stay in place. I ended up zip tying them so they would at least work. They would wick the water up in, and get wet, and then the fan blows through these, putting that moisture into the air. But they're done. They just don't work anymore. And so that's what I bought new. Now, incidentally, you cannot get these pieces online. I couldn't find them. It says they're not available anymore, but you can get the wick. So fortunately, these are still in good shape on mine. So we'll be reusing those. And then we're going to just push that out through. I mean, that is the junk, obviously. Here's the other one. When they're all hard, they're crumbling apart. They're turning to dust, literally turning to dust. So we'll have to get this, take that out for a minute. Dump that out. Now you saw I bought 2 filters because it was just as cheap. And I did the same thing with these. So I have this one and this one. And I can't remember, but I'm going to post a link to both of these below the description here. But I want to say that I only paid $12 for a set of these. So 12 and 12, and then like 10 or 15 bucks for that. So for about 35 bucks, you're refurbishing a fairly expensive humidifier instead of going out and spending another 100 bucks or something. As you can see right there, MBKW9-PB. And my model for the unit is a model W-6S. So that's the model for the Bonaire humidifier. Okay, so back to open these up here. One. I see something different right away, and maybe that's something they notice with the old ones. Inside these new ones is a metal core. I wonder if that's designed to help hold their shape better, because that's what started happening. These just started not staying together. There is no metal core in these at all. I don't want to make too much of a mess with them. So it looks like that's a modification they made. Now this should pop apart. I'm just, it's old, so I'm concerned about breaking these. Push these down in instead of pulling those apart. I think this is what I'm going to do. I just don't want to break the plastic. So I'm just gonna do it like that. Get some of that old stuff out of there. Yeah, there's no reason why you can't do that. They pushed right down in there nicely, and that's pretty much ready to go. Wow, this is I'm pretty happy about this because I've been wanting to fire this thing back up for a while now. So we'll push this one down in, same thing. It'll last longer. Now this thing is about, geez, I'm gonna say 10 or 15 years old, so I mean it hasn't owed us anything. We've got a lot of use out of it, but geez, that was pretty easy. So, now we will clean this thing all out, but let's just show you. I don't want to have you watch me cleaning because that's no big deal. We'll fire this thing up with, so yeah, you can see that slides on. This goes on here like that, and then we'll go ahead and put some water in one of these, and these do a quarter turn. They come off. I get the gasket here, and then in my case I can just do this and fill it up, and we'll just speed this up so you don't have to watch this too. Okay, alright, so as you can see, she's just about full here. So we're going to go ahead and make sure she's right good and up there. Right about there. I don't get it up into the collar area because you got to have a little bit of room for this to make sure you're not going to overflow. So just get this back down on here. And there is an arrow as to how it's supposed to go. Once you get it right, there we go. And then quarter turn, and that should be sealed. And you can flip it over, and as you can see, nothing comes out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the outside here so you can see, like I said, that tab's going to go up inside right there. Push on that and allow water to come out. And you'll see this basin will fill up. It flows through 2 holes over into the other part. The wick collects it, obviously, and then it starts blowing into the air when the fan's running. Now if you listen, you're going to hear it gurgle. So you can see right off the bat that the base of this holds a pretty good amount. I mean, that took probably almost a gallon came right out of this. It went right into the bottom. And actually, I'll show you on the other side here too. Why not? What that looks like. So, oh, and I got to put the float back in. All right. So you can see that's floating now. It's going to let it know that there's water in the unit. So we'll give this a minute for these wicks to draw the water up in them, and then when we turn the unit on, it blows through this and takes that moisture and puts it into the air. And like I said, this unit is capable of up to 8 gallons a day. It's a lot of water. And again, I gotta clean this thing all out, but I just want to show you how it works here. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and plug it in right there. And right off the bat, she kicked in. And we got all kinds of dust we got to clean out. The fan is on low, so you can barely hear it. We'll get the vacuum all this out, and then once this container is empty, actually I might pull this off, let it run dry, clean the base of it all up, and then put the other one in. I'll set this one in empty for now, just so nothing drops down in there. And that's all there is to it. And again, this thing will put a lot of moisture back into the air. So we got our filter back in place here, which will help clean the air as well. And you want to vacuum that out often, and then of course keep your containers full. So instead of throwing this thing away, it's been refurbished, and this thing will work just like new now. Let's see if these fan settings change. All right, there's medium and high. And that, like I said, right now is not going to be much moisture because the wicks haven't really gotten wet yet. So, and then you can adjust, like I said. So you can see the power light's on, and the empty light will come on when it's low on water. And you can adjust how much moisture you want. So I just turn it down enough that it thinks the house is moist enough, but that's really, really low. But I'm going to leave it off at this for a little bit, maybe 15 minutes, make sure those wicks get good and wet, and then we'll turn it back on. So anyways, thanks for swinging by Shane's Main Shop. Please like, subscribe, come back often for more videos. Don't forget to click on one of the videos in each of the top left and right hand corner. And of course, click on the icon at the bottom of the screen to subscribe. And as always, have a great day.